Hi, grade nines. I am Iris Mudau. I'm with my colleagues Lina Masindi, Amanda Klemba, and Azile Matolo, and we're going to focus more on today's topic, grade nines and natural sciences on cell structure and its functions. So, as we get to it, what is a cell? A cell is the smallest unit that is capable of performing life. Actually, is the unit of life. It what makes life to be the way it is. So here there are examples on types of cell that we have. We have amoeba, proteus, plant stem, bacteria, the nerve, and so forth. And as we can look at the history of the cell, we can see microscopes and cell. We can see that on the 1680s, Anthony van Leeuwenhoek first described living cells as into a microscope. He's the one, we can say he's the one that basically found out about the cells when he was looking into the microscope, right? And then after that, another scientist, Robert Hooke, used the compound microscope to view tiny sliced corn cells, whereby he saw what he saw on the slides was a sort of like a diagram where he then labeled it as being zinc cells, because the diagram that he was seeing on the microscope represented a compound of cells. And so that is the microscope and cells. Well, we're onto the history of the cell, and then on the 1830s, Matthias identified the first plant cells and conducted that all plants are made out of cell. And then regarding the cell theory, we're gonna look more on the cell theory, as this can be questioned later on this tutorial. So we can say that all living things are made up of one or more cells, and cells are the smallest working unit of all living things, and that all cells come from pre-existing cells through cell division. So cell division you'll learn more as you advance in grades, right? Okay, for now it's no longer important. And the number of cells, we can say that organelles may be unicellular, which can be composed of only containing one cell, or multicellular, which can be an organism that has many cells, right? Okay, so there are different types of cells. We have eukaryotic cells and prokaryotic, where prokaryotic do not have a nucleus or organelles, so we can classify them like bacteria, and eukaryotes have nucleus and organelles, such as plants, humans, animals, and so forth. Okay, now that we're on cell structures and function, I'll have my colleague Amanda Klemba to take you through the cell structures and functions.
Hi, grade nines. My name is Amanda Klimba. So together we'll go through the cell structure. Okay, guys. So the cell consists of three important parts. The first part that we'll focus on is the cell membrane, and the second part is the nucleus. And between the nucleus and the cell membrane, we get what we call the cytoplasm. Within the cytoplasm, we find what distinct structures that we call organelles. What are organelles? Organelles are subcellular structures that has one or more specific job to perform in a cell. The organelles that we'll be focusing on today are mitochondria and the vacuole. So let's talk more about the structure of the cell. The nucleus is one of the most important organelles of the cell, and it is located in the middle of the cell. The cell membrane is also called the plasma membrane. The cell membrane separates the interior of the cell from the outside environment. And then we will focus on the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm fills the inside of the cell. It is located inside the cell and outside of the nucleus. And then let's focus on the mitochondria. The mitochondria is located in the fluid that surrounds the cell, of which we call the cytoplasm. The vacuole is the membrane-bound organelle that is found on the cytoplasm. Thank you. So my colleague Lina Masindi will take over and tell us more about the functions of the cell structures.
Good day, grade 9s. My name is Lina Masindi. I'm going to take you through the structures and their functions. So the first structure is the plasma membrane. As you can see, we have a picture of a plasma membrane there. So the plasma membrane controls the movement of substances in and out of the cell. It also double layer, which you can also call it bilayer. It is found in plants and bacteria within the cell wall. We also have a cytoplasm. So in your cell, you won't be able to see a cytoplasm because it's a liquid-like or jelly-like mixture inside cells. So it is surrounded by the cell membrane. It contains cell structure that carry out specific jobs. Mitochondrion or nucleus. It provides a medium for chemical reactions to take place. Our cells also consist of organelles. So I'm going to take you through the functions of the organelles that we found in the cell. The first organelle, we have the nucleus. The nucleus acts as a control center of the cell. It controls all the activities that occurs in the cell. It, it also it also acts as a direction in terms of the cell activities. So, for example, we can have a class prefect. A class prefect manages all the activities that occurs in the classroom. So, nucleus also do the same thing. So, it also contains the genetic material, which we can call DNA. DNA, it is found in the human body or also animals. It is also separated from cytoplasm by the nuclear membrane or the nuclear envelope. Mitochondria is one of the important organelles in the cell. It is also called a powerhouse of the cell. As you can see there in the slide, we have a picture of a mitochondria. Mitochondria consist of an inner membrane, outer membrane, a cristae, and a matrix. It is also a membrane-bound organelle and also a site of cellular respiration. When we say it is a site of cellular respiration, we mean that we use glucose to produce cell energy, which is also called ATP. Active cells like muscles have more mitochondria. Okay, now we are going to talk about another organelle, which is called vacuole. So we are going to talk about the animal vacuole and the plant vacuole. So the animal vacuole, it is also called a membrane-bound sac for storage. So not only it is for storage, it is also for digestion and waste removal. And it also contains water solutions. That one is a animal vacuole. Now we are going to talk about the plant vacuole. When you see your drawings of a plant cell or an animal cell, you will see that we have different sizes of the vacuole. In animal cell, you'll see that the vacuole is a little bit smaller, and then in plant vacuole, you see that it's a little bit bigger. So the plant vacuole, it have a large central vacuoles that store water and nutrients needed by the cell, and it also helps to support the shape of the cell. Since we have discussed about the cell theory, and everything about the cell, now I'm going to hand over to my colleague Azile Madolo, who's going to take you through today's activity based on what you have learned so far.
Hello learners, my name is Azile Madolo. I will be taking you through the activity for today on what we have learned so far. These are the questions for the activity. Number 1, what is a cell? In this question, you have to explain what is a cell as you were taught. Question 2, explain the cell theory. In this question, you have to explain how does cell come to exist. Question 3, draw and identify organelles we find inside the cell. As my colleagues has explained the organelles that we find in the cell, now you have to draw the cells and the organelles inside the cell and mention them. Question 4, you have to explain the function of each cell. We have cell membrane. You have to explain what is a cell membrane and what is its function in the cell. What is cytoplasm and its function in the cell. You have to explain what is the nucleus, what does it do in the cell. You also have to explain mitochondria and vacuole. You have to give a clear explanation of these organelles. Now I will hand it back over to my colleague Abet.
Okay, learners, as now to summarize the lesson, we have covered what is a cell, the cell theory, the structure of the cell, its organelles, and its function. So now the resources that we have used, if you want to get more information about the cell, you can have access to the Siyavula textbook, which can be accessed through software or hardware. You can buy the book or you can download the book on websites out there. So now we'll end this YouTube tutorial by doing a little mini song based on what you have learned and about the cell and everything. So enjoy.
The soul, the soul, the cell. The cell is the basic unit of life, Our cell theory, we can all say living things are made up of one or more cells. And our cells are the smallest working unit of all living things. And lastly, all cells come from pre-existing cells through cell division, cell structures, and functions. Cell membrane, what is cell membrane? Cell membrane, what is cell membrane? Outer membrane of the cells that controls movement of substances. It is double layered, it's found in plants and bacteria. This is with the cell wall, and we have cytoplasm, a gel-like mixture found inside cells. Surround by cell membrane contains the cell structure that carry out the specific job. Except for mitochondria provides the medium for chemical reactions. Now the ribosome organelles. We have nucleus, control centers, direct cell activities, contains DNA, separate from cytoplasm by nuclear membrane, and the nuclear membrane surrounds nucleus, made of 2 layers, opening corpus, allows some material to enter and leave. The mitochondria, it's a powerhouse, the powerhouse of energy, called the ATP. Mitochondria, the mitochondria. digesting, and we're still in one. Content water solutions. Now we have everything that we learn in this activity. Now if you hear me, just say